One king changed England forever just because he wanted a divorce. This is Henry VIII, born June 28, 1491 at Greenwich Palace. Second son, not supposed to be king. Athletic, scholarly, fluent in languages, groomed for the church. Then 1502, his older brother Arthur Tudor dies. Everything changes. In 1509, at just 17 years old, Henry becomes King of England. Weeks later, he marries his brother's widow, Catherine of Aragon. At first, Golden Age energy, tournaments, feasts, war with France, victory at the Battle of the Spurs in 1513. Chief advisor, the powerful Thomas Wolsey. But there's a problem. Catherine cannot produce a surviving male heir. Only one child lives, Princess Mary, born 1516. Henry becomes obsessed with securing the Tudor line. By the 1520s, he's in love with Anne Boleyn. She refuses to be a mistress. She wants the crown. So Henry asks the Pope for an annulment. The Pope says no. Why? Because Catherine's nephew is Charles V, the most powerful ruler in Europe. So Henry does the unthinkable. Between 1532 and 1534, he breaks from Rome. Parliament passes the Act of Supremacy. Henry declares himself supreme head of the Church of England. England is now Protestant, because one king wanted a son. Wolsey fails to secure the annulment, disgraced, arrested, dies in 1530. Enter Thomas Cromwell, mastermind of the English Reformation. Monasteries are dissolved, church wealth seized, opposition crushed. In 1533, Henry marries Anne Boleyn. She gives birth to a girl, Elizabeth. Yes, that Elizabeth I. But no son. By 1536, Anne is accused of adultery, incest, treason, arrested, tried, executed at the Tower of London in May 1536. Just 11 days later, Henry marries Jane Seymour. Finally, in 1537, a son is born, Edward. But Jane dies 12 days later. Henry is devastated. She will be buried beside him. Wife 4? Anne of Cleves. A political alliance arranged by Cromwell in 1540. Henry sees her and hates the match. The marriage is annulled within months. Cromwell takes the fall, arrested, executed in July 1540. Wife 5? Catherine Howard. Young, lively, a cousin of Anne Boleyn, but scandal erupts, accused of adultery, executed in 1542. Wife 6? Catherine Parr, educated, Protestant. She survives him, barely avoiding arrest for heresy. Meanwhile, Henry wages wars in France and Scotland. In 1513, victory at Flodden crushes James IV of Scotland. Later campaigns drain the treasury. He fortifies England's navy, laying foundations for future sea power. But by the 1540s, the once athletic king is unrecognisable. A 1536 jousting accident leaves him with chronic leg wounds. His weight soars, possibly over 300 pounds. Mobility declines, temper worsens. Executions multiply. Friends, nobles, religious opponents, all fall if they threaten control. By January 28, 1547, Henry VIII dies at Whitehall Palace, age 55. He leaves behind 3 surviving children: Mary, Elizabeth, Edward. Each will rule. Each will reshape England again. So that was Henry VIII. 6 marriages, 2 executions, a religious revolution, and a kingdom permanently transformed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal chaos, hit that like button so I know to make more insane historical breakdowns like this. Subscribe right now, because next time we might be covering an emperor who burned a city, or a queen who rode into battle. And trust me, you don't want to miss that.